and welcome to Chart of the Day Cafe for Tuesday, April 17th, 2018. Read our disclaimer quickly. Trading stocks is a high level of risk and viewers should complete their own due diligence on any stock or underlying that they intend to own. 100% of the content of this video and communique is intended for journalistic and educational purposes only. This video and all indicators, strategies, and articles herein should not be construed as investment advice. Not making any recommendations, always for your further homework. Good morning, Sue here. Hope you had a great weekend. Before I start today's video, I just wanted to apologize. I didn't get a video out last Thursday. I'm so sorry. I tried my darndest. I was having nothing but computer problems, specifically storage, and I just couldn't get around it. I tried till about 10 o'clock in the morning and then I finally gave up because I had a lot of other things to tackle. So I am sorry for that. I rarely miss a day. As a reminder, these videos go out every Tuesday and Thursday. So with that, let's get into today's. Looks like we're going to get a healthy start in the market. I'm filming this at about 9 a.m. and the futures are up in a healthy manner. If you know me, then you know I always start my videos off with a look at the Russell Index because I always want to make sure that before I put any new names forward, I'm putting them forward in a rising market environment. And I use the IWM, which is the ETF that represents the Russell 2000, as my proxy for the markets overall. So here we are, and I like to step back and take a look at it on a 5-year monthly time frame. I really like to get the reference point of the prior candles. So here we are for the month of April, bullish candle so far, halfway through the month, but you want to note we're coming into the area where the market struggled in February. This is February's candle, January's candle, and March we had that long wick. So we want to always be vigilant when we start to see this happening, and the 8-day is ticking up here, but it was flattening out. So we want to be aware of that environment. I'm going to put my drawings back in and we'll see our reference points. So kind of not paying attention to this area down here. This is long-term support resistance, medium. The pink is short-term, but it's this wedge that we're keeping an eye on. The most important line on my whole chart is this black diagonal. Why? Because it held price in on the Russell through all of 2017, and then we had this little break up and over in the latter part of the year, and it stayed above that area until February, where it closed below. So that caught my attention, and it closed below in March, and here we are in April, halfway through the month. Will it close above or below? We will see, but we're right in this apex. So I'm going to move it away from the 5-year monthly to the 2-year weekly, so you can better see how price is behaving. Here's that same orange line, the same black diagonal line, and here we are in this wedge. You can see that last week there was a wick that formed. Oops, let me just zoom it in a bit. Sorry, I'm going to go from the 2-year to the 9-month weekly. So we had a candle that didn't have a whole lot of conviction with it. Last week we had that wick. But this week, look, we've opened up and over the black diagonal line, which is encouraging. So if we're able to close this week above this line, that would be a really good sign for me. Because we're making, if you look at this on this 9-month weekly, low, higher low, equal low for the most part, and higher low over here in this very important area, the apex of this wedge. So we will see. So far so good this morning. Now let's take a look at it on the daily, and if you've been watching my videos, then you know that I use this blue line as my guide, which is the 8-day EMA. When price on the Russell is up and over that 8-day EMA, and the Russell is in an overall uptrend, like it has been, I'm adding new names to my watch list. So as you can see, we're up and over the blue diagonal, we're up and over the black, and we're up and over the blue. So I will be featuring a new chart this morning. And that new name I'm adding to my watch list this morning is Sabra Healthcare REIT Inc., ticker symbol SBRA, trades on the NASDAQ exchange. Before I get into the chart, let me tell you a little bit more about the company. They were incorporated in 2010. They're in the REIT equity space. Incorporated in 2010, they are a wholly owned subsidiary of Sun Healthcare Group, a provider of nursing, rehabilitative, and related specialty healthcare services and products in the United States. If you know me at Chart of the Day Cafe, you know that I'm all about value, and SBRA has a very nice high value score along with the forecasted earnings growth rate going forward of 19%. It's got a current PE of 10.34, but here's what I really love. It's got a dividend yield of 10.30%. That is a really nice, healthy dividend. So with that, let's get into the chart. We're looking at the 5-year monthly. You can see that it's been going sideways, but it's sitting at an area of support. It looks as though it may want to interrupt the downtrend and resume lifting here. We will see, but I like the monthly candle from last month with the volume increasing at this very important area of support, and it looks as though it may want to continue that lift in this area here. I'm going to move it away from the 5-year monthly to the, let's go 1-year weekly. And you can see that it's consolidating around this orange line, bouncing around, made a low, a little bit higher low, and it looks as though if the market wants to continue higher here, SBRA may want to do the same. So keeping an eye on it in this area. Here's my blue 8-day EMA. This is the weekly view. Let's take a look at it on a smaller time frame. Here's the daily. Does it have a 3 and 8 cross, which is what I look for? Just about. So I like this double bottom here on the daily at this strong area of support, and I will be looking for this one to have a little more lift here into this area today. With those scores and that dividend, should the market go higher, I don't see why SBRA wouldn't go higher with it. We will see. It's not as though I know anything more than you do about the stock, and I don't currently own it, but this is one I really want to be keeping an eye on here. Along with my new watch list pick, I also like to take a look at the sector that it's in, and for that we're looking at VNQ, which is the Vanguard Real Estate ETF, 5-year monthly chart. A lot like SBRA, it's been more or less trading sideways on the monthly. Having said that, it did have a strong month last month in March with volume increasing, so if this month is going to complement last month, it should start to show some lift in this area. We will see. I also like to take a look at seasonality. If you know me, you know that. And for that, I go to equityclock.com. This is the seasonal chart for Sabra Healthcare. You can see it does have that period of seasonal strength at this time of year, but it does end towards the end of April. This is a secondary data point for me. There's no guarantee this happens again this year, but for me, it's more the chart than the seasonality, but I also like to know this as well. So noting that at the beginning of May, seasonal strength for Sabra tends to tick lower, but the chart may indicate differently. We will see. Time will tell. Along with that, I also like to go over to FinViz and see if I've got analyst support for my new watch list pick. And sure enough, Sabra had a recent upgrade by Bank of America Merrill Lynch from underperformed to neutral. So that's always a positive. As well, I like to go over to FinViz and see if I can find an article that supports my thinking on the chart. And this one came up, is the REIT bloodbath finally a buying opportunity? They mentioned Sabra specifically. There's some good data points in this article, so I will include it with today's video as well. And so to quickly recap, let's go back and check the boxes. I started today's video with a look at the Russell Index, and we note that overall the Russell is back in our uptrend with price up and over the 8-day EMA on the daily chart. We looked at the sector that SBRA is in, VNQ. It's trading sideways on the 5-year chart, but at a very important area of support with volume coming in. We looked at the chart for Sabra, same thing, trading sideways on the 5-year, but volume and support coming in, and possible price uptrend continuation from here. Emphasis on possible, we will see. It's got an excellent value score. These are highlighted because they're two of the most important things for me. Excellent value score, excellent growth score with a forecasted earnings growth rate going forward of 19%. A dividend yield, wow, 10.30%. This is why I'm featuring it here at this area of support. The dividend yield is nice and juicy and high in this area. As long as you manage the trade and are very careful, that's pretty appealing to me. This is not checked because it does not currently have a 3 and 8 EMA cross, which I look for, but it's very close. Could happen today or tomorrow should the market continue higher. So it's not checked, but very close. It does have seasonality in its favor, but as we said in our video, that seasonality is ending soon, so we'll see. It's got analyst support coming back in with an upgrade, a current PE of 10.34, and earnings look as though they're going to be on May 14th. Thank you for watching today's video. As a reminder, they go out every Tuesday and Thursday morning. My next video will go out this Thursday. Thanks and have a great next couple of days.